Welcome to this edition of SKNIS Week in Review, a program highlighting the top stories of the work of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for the past week. Here's a look at some of the highlights for the week of September 23rd to 29th, 2022. Prime Minister Drew delivers inaugural address at 77th session of UN General Assembly. St. Kitts and Nevis is one step closer to facilitating effective trade regionally and internationally. Emphasis placed on resuscitating tourism sector post-COVID-19. And St. Kitts and Nevis represented at ITU's Plenipotentiary Conference in Romania. I am your presenter, Sherima Matthew. Experts have forecast that hurricanes and other natural weather phenomena will become more intense as a result of global warming, which leads to climate change. The destruction of Category 5 Hurricane Ian is proof of this. Climate change was one of the chief concerns raised by Prime Minister the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew as he gave his inaugural address at the 77th session of the United Nations General Assembly on Friday, September 23rd, 2022.
With the passage of every hurricane, every outbreak of war, and every global food shortage, we all remain at risk of tipping the balance that we have striven to create over these many years. Therefore, I humbly urge countries to honor the financial commitments made before the COP26 to double contribution to adaptation financing by 2025. A delayed response to these commitments would further imperil our developing nations. Climate financing, resiliency, and environmental conservation must be integrated into national development policies and must be at the forefront of our global development agenda.
The Prime Minister also pledged to continue working to advance gender equality and youth empowerment within the local population as the Federation vigorously pursues Goal 5 of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, which advocates for member states to achieve gender equality and empower all women and girls. He said that St. Kitts and Nevis will continue to put women and youth at the forefront of our social development and all of our pursuits, including the advancement of the digital economy, and that he is confident that our active inclusion of women and youth in public life through their appointment in our parliament, diplomatic and senior civil service posts, and other decision-making fora will bear much fruit. Prime Minister Dr. Drew identified education as a key component to achieving this agenda and enhancing opportunities for all. He said that the goal is to ensure that all people have equal access to education. Other goals for educational reforms include, but are not limited to, incorporating STEAM specialist spaces in all schools, reintroducing the iLiteracy one-to-one laptop program, and strengthening technical and vocational education by providing alternative programming and scholarships. Minister of Information and Communications Technology, the Honorable Conris Maynard, is currently in Bucharest, Romania, attending the September 26th to October 14th, 2022 Plenipotentiary Conference organized by the International Telecommunications Union, ITU. The Plenipotentiary Conference is a key event in the world where ITU member states decide on the future role of the organization in the development of information and communication technologies, ICTs, worldwide. For the first time, a Caribbean delegation of 65 persons representing 13 countries is attending the meeting. The Honorable Conris Maynard said that a highlight of the meeting for St. Kitts and Nevis is the nomination of a Caribbean colleague to serve in a top position in the ITU.
We are excited among the Caribbean leaders because we have an opportunity to elect for the first time one of our Caribbean counterparts from Bahamas to sit at one of the higher levels of the ITU. And so we are coalescing support around the candidacy in Bahamas. This is an opportunity for the Caribbean and St. Kitts and Nevis to have stronger voice and stronger representation at the highest levels of telecommunications in our globe. And so we are looking forward to
Minister
this.
Maynard is accompanied by Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of ICT, Sherilyn Pemberton Maynard, E-Government Coordinator in the Ministry of ICT, Sancho Duncan, and Network Coordinator in the Ministry of ICT, Tristan Vasquez. Following the commissioning of a new equipment at the Metrology Laboratory at the St. Kitts and Nevis Bureau of Standards, SKNBS, on Monday, September 26, 2022, the Federation is one step closer to facilitating effective trade regionally and internationally. This was according to Daniel Best, Director, Projects Department at the Caribbean Development Bank during his virtual remarks.
Today marks a major victory for national quality infrastructure as a mechanism for effective trade facilitation in St. Kitts and Nevis and other CARIFORUM member states. The laboratory upgrades we have completed help to chart a clear path to improve compliance with quality standards that will lead to greater opportunities, particularly in the manufacturing sector.
Jasmine Warner-Weeks, Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of International Trade, Industry, Commerce and Consumer Affairs, said that the commissioning of the lab is historic.
It is historic because today's commissioning proves that partnerships, if done in the true spirit of togetherness, can be successful. Today's initiative will go a long way to enhance the country's ability to meet first world standards in trade. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis is indeed appreciative of this show of mutual cooperation and collaboration, which bolsters the facilitation of trade regionally and internationally.
The equipment was provided through the Strengthening of Regional Quality Infrastructure Program, procurement of metrology equipment to Barbados, Dominica, and St. Kitts and Nevis project. The two-year initiative is being managed by the Caribbean Development Bank with financing from the European Union under the 11th European Development Fund EDF CARIFORUM European Union Economic Partnership Agreement and the CARICOM Single Market and Economy Standby Facility for Capacity Building. The Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives continues to push forward in efforts to strengthen food security within the Federation. The latest of such an initiative was witnessed on September 26th when a gas chromatography mass spectrometry was handed over the St. Kitts Nevis Bureau of Standards. Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Miguel Fleming, said that the launch falls in line with the mandate of the ministry.
Science is powerful, and the launch of the gas chromatography mass spectrometer is indicative of our enthusiasm to improve the overall sector. Farmers and fishers are critical pillars of our society as we work to develop standards and train farmers of good agricultural practices, but there is no guarantee that all the rules will be followed. Therefore, there should be no disparity between the amount of effort placed into the pre to post operational quality assurance practices as it relates to the production of agricultural products.
The Honorable Samuel Duggins, Minister of Agriculture, shared similar sentiments and described the equipment as an important tool for the sector and St. Kitts and Nevis on a whole.
Now, we've heard much prior to my presentation here about the importance of this valued piece of equipment. And for me, I look at that through the lens of our future in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis, and also my own commitment and the commitment of the Ministry of Agriculture to improve on our food and nutrition security.
The GCMS can be used to separate complex mixtures quantify analytes, identify unknown peaks, and determine trace levels of contamination. It can also be used to study liquid, gaseous, or solid samples. St. Kitts and Nevis's Minister of Tourism, the Honorable Marsha Henderson, used World Tourism Day on September 27th to reiterate that the tourism sector is vitally important to the Federation and that every effort will be placed on resuscitating the sector in a post-COVID-19 world. Minister Henderson explained more in her World Tourism Day address to the nation on Tuesday, September 27, 2022.
During the past 2 years, we endured restrictions and lockdowns put in place by governments around the world to control the spread of the COVID-19 virus. While we endured the economic hardship of the virus, this period also provided us with opportunities and a newfound appreciation for the industry. This year's theme for World Tourism Day, Rethinking Tourism, focuses on reimagining the sector's growth, both in terms of size and relevance, emphasizing the rebound of travel across the globe over the past 2.5 years, as well as our aggressive plans to continue driving positive impacts in the year ahead. As I reflect on this theme, St. Kitts and Nevis is in a position to rethink our tourism products and refresh and repackage our existing offerings as we look towards the future.
World Tourism Day is observed on September 27th annually to foster awareness among the international community of the importance of tourism and its social, cultural, political, and economic value. Increases in cargo shipping and passenger arrivals to St. Kitts and Nevis are positive signs that the economy is beginning to gain steam as the COVID-19 health emergency is moving to an endemic. Minister responsible for ports, the Honorable Marsha Henderson, shared the positive news on Sunday, September 26, 2022, as she addressed the congregation of the Antioch Baptist Church. The minister and staff from the St. Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, SCASPA, worshipped at the church to mark SCASPA's 29 years of service to the public. At the seaport, Honorable Henderson, who also is the Minister of Tourism, said that cruise tourism is expected to return to pre-pandemic numbers, barring any unforeseen external shocks.
There has been an uptick in cargo imports, which is a clear indication that the economy is steadily, albeit slowly, getting back to 2019 levels. St. Kitts, as you know, is one, if not the most sought-after Caribbean cruise destination. Cruise operations has resumed with a bang. I am pleased to announce that for the 2022-2023 cruise season, barring any cancellations, we expect over 350 calls and just over 900,000 passengers. Things are indeed looking up, and we expect that by 2023, the 2024 cruise season, we would once again surpass the 1 million passenger mark.
SCASPA has plans to modernize and streamline operations at the seaports and redevelop the airport master plan with a view of constructing a new modern international airport with enhanced capacity. Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, the Honorable Dr. Terence Drew, said that the government intends to take the necessary actions to create a sustainable medicinal cannabis industry. Prime Minister Dr. Drew, speaking during an interview with SKN Newsline on Wednesday, September 28th, said that there is much work to do in this regard because as it stands, St. Kitts and Nevis is well behind when it comes to establishing a cannabis industry.
Antigua is ahead, St. Vincent is ahead, Jamaica is ahead, you know, and we know that people travel to this country because they would have an industry that is well controlled, well monitored, and so forth, that allow the use of marijuana. And so we will be on that path. So we'll see a lot of action in that area within the first. Now we have a marijuana commission in place. That commission would start functioning in earnest to get us there. We will then move also to expunge the records of those who have criminal records for possession of marijuana. We think that should not be used as a means to limit people's advancement in their own lives. And so we will put the necessary legislation in place to get us there.
Moreover, Prime Minister Dr. Drew made it clear that his administration will ensure that it is the citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis who benefit first and foremost from the establishment of this industry. The importance of road safety, the implementation of proper road signage, penalties for infringing traffic laws, and a new home for the traffic department were discussed on September 26, 2022, when Attorney General and Minister of Justice and Legal Affairs, the Honorable Garth Wilkin, met with the Commissioner of Police, Hilroy Brandy, and senior police officers within the traffic department of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. In an effort to increase road safety, the Attorney General and the senior police officers discussed and agreed that as a matter of urgency, proper signage will be erected at roundabouts and traffic lights to explain to all road users, especially the thousands of tourist visitors expected during our upcoming peak season, the lawful way to utilize those traffic features to make road use safer. Other important points of discussion included the installation of speed bumps to deter speeding, the drafting of a new ticketing law which will include demerit points, whereby a person can lose his or her driver's license by accumulating a certain number of demerit points, as well as the relocation of the traffic department to a more spacious and convenient home which can accommodate vehicle registration, licensing and insurance in one location, thereby eliminating the need for persons to travel to various offices throughout Bastille to process vehicle sales and registration. That was the SKNIS Week in Review for September 23rd to 29th, 2022. I am Sharima Matthew. See you next week as we continue to update you, the general public, on what's happening in and around the Federation.